hey, for Trey Lance, the only way to go is up. And now he's a Cowboy after escaping a no-win situation in San Francisco. Jerry Jones pulled this trade off without consulting anyone. And Lance addressed the media yesterday, talked about his warm welcome from Dak Prescott. Listen.
He welcomed me with open arms. This morning was the first time I ran into him. But yeah, I mean, that meant a lot to me. I know it's this business is crazy. But for me, like I said, I'm not looking forward at all. I'm just really trying to take it one day at a time. And these guys obviously played at a very high level for a very long time. So nothing but, obviously just tons and tons of respect for him, as I think he deserves and gets from across the league. So for me, just trying to learn everything I possibly can from him.
All right, so Trey Lance has a new home, but Herm, as I said, we've come to find out this week that Jerry Jones never touched base with Dak Prescott or Mike McCarthy about this decision. As a coach, you okay with this kind of decision happening without your input?
Are you kidding me? When you work for Jerry Jones, he's going to do what Jerry Jones does. Who does he have to consult? He's the owner. He's the head coach. He's the defensive coordinator. Jerry Jones made a move to help his football team down the road. This guy was a first-round pick. He had to give up a fourth-round pick for a quarterback. He's going to be willing to do that. He's not threatening Dak Prescott. He's not ready to play. He was in the 49ers offense for 2 years, and he was a third-string guy. You think he's ready to play right now? No, but maybe down the line he is. But Dak Prescott has been sent a message. When we get to the playoffs, we need to win. That's what he's saying. We need to win. You want all this money? You want this big contract? You better win in the playoffs. Because if not, I got a young guy sitting behind you.
Yeah, I mean, it's a good point. The other thing to keep in mind, too, Dak Prescott's contract includes a $59.5 million cap hit next season. That's the second highest in the NFL, behind only Deshaun Watson. I think this is going to look really smart down the road, and I hope it does for Trey Lance's sake. To Cleveland, where quarterback Deshaun Watson, who we were just talking about, enters year 2 with a really talented team around him. Let's face it, last season, he wasn't the Watson of the past after missing so much time. This year, a chance to prove he was worth his record-breaking contract. In the 6 games that Deshaun Watson started last season, the Browns' offense averaged 12.8 points per game. That's the fewest offensive points per game by any team in a quarterback starts last season. With then backup quarterback Jacoby Brissett under center, the Browns' offense averaged over 23 points per game for perspective. So you can see the lack of production last year, right, Dan? We saw it firsthand. How different, though, do you expect this offense to look this season?
If it looks like in the regular season how it has in the preseason, pretty significantly. Way more spread out, way more shotgun, and way more kind of moving the pieces around. Amari Cooper on the inside. And their usage of Elijah Moore, remember the receiver they traded for with the Jets, they put him at tailback here, flush him to the top of the screen. So Deshaun's going, okay, looking there, trying to move defenders laterally. And now watch this. This is a switch release. Donovan Peoples-Jones runs the seam, and Njoku goes to the top. That ball is thrown perfectly to a wide receiver down the seam, not a tight end at 18 yards. Now the Chiefs defense is like, wait, what's going on? There was a tailback down at the bottom of the screen. Again, Elijah Moore is a tailback. They widen and release him. Now 2 people are covering him. Really no one covering Njoku. Deshaun sees it quickly and throws the perfect pass. And I think that is a little bit different than what he experienced with Kevin Stefanski, their head coach and play caller last year. So I thought his preseason got gradually better, the way it looked. And I think we got to give them about a month, because it is going to be a very, at least in my opinion, different schematic offense when it comes to where people are going to line up. And that's different for Deshaun, certainly in Cleveland.
I hear you on why that could work better for Deshaun. We could see improvements from him versus last year. But does spread and shotgun potentially mess the offense up a little bit? Theoretically, you got to think that Nick Chubb is the best player on the team.
Totally. I mean, I would say the best part of their team is their offensive line, right? And I think so much has been built off of this offense that has been wildly successful in the NFL for like 50 years, is that outside zone and play action stuff. But I think Kevin Stefanski's realizing I got a dynamic player. He sees the field better when I spread it out a little bit. And they have the weapons, Donovan Peoples-Jones and Amari Cooper and David Njoku and Elijah Moore. And I think that's one of the really interesting things is their usage of Elijah Moore. And I think they're going to use him, the way that San Francisco does a Deebo Samuel, the way that the New Orleans Saints do a Alvin Kamara and the San Francisco 49ers do the McCaffrey. So while the offense that he's run for a long time has been wildly successful, it may be that he thinks and believes that they can be as, or if not more successful in this style for Deshaun. I don't think they get away from it completely.
Right.
I just think they're going to add to it with a little bit more nuance.
Okay, you said be a little bit patient early on. 3 of the Browns' first 4 games are against divisional opponents. So they're the only team in the NFL that plays 3 of their first games against teams in their own division. So you can't be too patient.
Where
You
is
gotta
it?
win
Do you know
those
where
games.
those
I don't know. I got to look at the schedule, but I just know that.
that's
So
tough.
we'll find out and tell you after the
defenses.
break. All right, still to come.
Get on
Kenny
that, Rod.
Pickett. I know, I got to get on it.
me location.
He's been making some noise in the preseason, Pickett has. When we come back, Dan will talk about Pickett's performance. Plus, we'll welcome a surprise guest to discuss the Steelers. Find out who that is. It's all coming your way next on NFL Live. You can't ask me those questions right now. I didn't look it up.
It would have been great if I asked you who.
And very bare quarterback room. Yesterday, Bailey Zappi was cut. They made a couple other cuts. That leaves Mac Jones as the only quarterback on the roster. So we got to dive into this, figure out exactly what's going on, and that's why we bring in our Patriots reporter, Mike Reese from Foxborough, to sift through all of it with us, okay? Take us through, Mike, the thought process here on only having one quarterback on the roster less than 2 weeks away from the season.
All right, Laura, so I don't know if you can see this, but I went by the Patriots Pro Shop and I picked up these Patriots dice. Here's what Bill Belichick was doing. He was rolling the dice, Laura, that Bailey Zappi and Malik Cunningham, the 2 quarterbacks they had on the roster, would make it through waivers and that he could sign them back to the practice squad, which happened today. So now they had 1 quarterback, just Mac Jones, for 1 day, and now they have 3 quarterbacks again. And he was doing that because he needed spots on other parts of the 53-man roster. So that's sort of what he was doing, and his dice roll worked out. However, Laura, you dig deeper. Bill Belichick always says, whenever you subject a player to waivers, you know you have a chance of losing them. And so it speaks volumes of how they view the gap between Mac Jones and Bailey Zappi and the other quarterbacks.
Yeah, it makes sense. Are you going to play any games with those dice? We got anything?
We got them, Laura.
Coming up?
I got them right here. Let's roll them. Let's roll them.
You ever played LCR?
They're coming up. They came up 4.
Oh, 4.
Bailey Zappi's number. There you go.
Oh, that's
Right there.
weird.
There you
What
go.
are the chances? Okay,
There you
I
go.
like that. Dan's
Yeah,
talking
there
about
you go.
dice.
You ever play LCR?
No, LCR, is that what you're saying?
Dice game.
Okay, I'm going to have to look into that. Thanks so much to Mike Reese for the latest on the Patriots. We'll continue on Mac Jones. He had an impressive rookie season, right? Leading the Patriots to the playoffs and finishing as the runner-up to Jamar Chase for Offensive Rookie of the Year. However, different story and a new offensive coaching staff last season. Following the departure of Josh McDaniels, Jones struggled, posting the 4th worst QBR in the NFL, ahead of only Baker Mayfield, Carson Wentz, and Davis Mills. So, Dan, what do you expect this offense to look like in New England?
Yeah, heavy RPO, the run-pass option, which Mac Jones did a lot at Alabama, was really successful with it. Now, I think they're going to see a ton of man coverage because they don't have people that can constantly win and separate on the outside. So the challenge for Bill O'Brien is going to be building in man-beating concepts in those RPOs. We've seen teams do that. I think the second thing, again, something they didn't do enough of last year, is play action pass. And this is different. Like the Los Angeles Chargers, I expected their play action pass to be just bombs away. This is going to be more play action pass chunks. Again, something that he was really good at Alabama and his rookie year that they did not do enough of last year. And I'd say the third thing, Laura, is this. And again, I like this when Mac was a rookie and back at Bama, is they would take some of their better pass catchers, like their receivers, and instead of putting them on the outside, they would put them on the inside at really like the number 3 spot, almost next to the offensive tackles. So can, a Juju Smith-Schuster be that person, or a Tyquan Thornton be that person, or a Kendrick Bourne, to really play that role where Mac can attack the middle of the field with precision more than trying to push the ball so much in tight coverage to the outside.
Yeah, it's his game, to your point. Just to put this in perspective, and Tom Brady has something to do with this, but the Patriots